Hello, hello. Thank you for checking in. It's Wednesday, hump day. Hello, great to see everybody. Let me say hello to Allure Star and Shocker and Sturdy Sky and TSS and House of
How do you like your coffee?
There's YouTube. TSS and House of Dave and Sam and St. Clinton and Eric and Petey and Tim and Ryan and Photo and Philip Chandler and Mark Mean and Star Raven and Angie Thomason and Fairies Lover and Lucky Girl and Azure Yusuf and the Cram and Marcel and Jim Dandy and Bill Knaus and Scott Kimmis and Joe Barney and Red Stapler, John McCain and Sturgis Guy and N1QOV and Brett and Blair Cooper and Terry Sue and Jay Dahlman and Max and Cosmic Joe and Boot and Swede and Sam and St. Clinton. Hello. Thank you for checking in. Great to see everybody. Hello. Sorry I missed last Monday and Tuesday. It was so hot in California, and my apartment was even hotter inside than outside. We had a heat wave outside, and inside was a sauna at my house. Just hot, and too hot to even run my computer because the circuitry was going to melt. So, oh yeah, and that was my first meeting with the foot rehab. Though the first meeting was just we didn't actually do any rehab. So had the first meeting, but the first rehab session for my foot is next week. This was just the assessment. I thought they were going to, yes, foot physical therapy. Foot physical therapy. Yeah, but my foot is getting stronger on my own. I've been trying to do stuff as well, so I did post a picture, though, out of focus on Facebook. But yeah, and so yesterday I went and visited with my friend Rita at the Santa Monica at a hotel there. They have a pool, and it was nice because you have a little breeze off the ocean, so it wasn't too hot. And I had a huge hat on and sunscreen, so I got no color. I'm still ghostly white. But it was really hot. I couldn't even stay in my house. The last 2 days, I had to go to Sweetie's because even at night, at like 11 o'clock at night, it was still like 95 degrees inside my house. So, no, I didn't go to the movies. Wait, yeah, yes, Sam. Hello. Hi, everybody on YouTube. So, Linda says she'd go to a store where they have air conditioning. Well, Linda, it's true. They are a big store, but sometimes they notice if you move in. See, I would have had to move in, Linda. I would have had to sleep there. So, yeah, it was pretty. My apartment holds on to the heat, and even with the windows open and the fan on, yes, Linda, Sweetie's has air conditioning. But my apartment, I don't, and even with the fans on and the windows open, it just stays like 95 all night long. So. Yeah, so it's really hot. So I hope everybody's doing okay. Sorry I missed you guys. Oh no, well I hope you find it, Linda. But that's it. I've just been hanging out. But got to spend a lot of nice time with Sweetie. That was fun. That was fun. Yes. Sam says I need bigger and better fans. Well, and I had 3 fans going, but my apartment is very small. There's not a lot of room to put a whole bunch of big fans because then it takes up the whole room, and then it starts to get really noisy. You know, like like 1 or 2 fans makes a rrr, but when you put a whole bunch of fans, all of a sudden you're like rrr. Then it then and then it starts to get so windy that all your papers and everything in your house is blowing around, which can be kind of annoying too because your hair and the papers are blowing around, and it'll still be hot, but you're like hot in a wind tunnel, a noisy wind tunnel. So, but anyhow, it's down. It's like it was 80s today, so it's definitely down like 10 or 15 degrees, so much better. And like the valley was getting up to like 100 and I'm not in the valley side, but the valley side was like in the hundreds, like 110, 105. So I'm really glad I'm not living over there because it was plenty hot here. And David Jones is convinced that Sweetie is actually Bernie Sanders and I'm having an affair. Uh, but Bernie is a great guy, but I'm pretty sure he's devoted to his wife of 30-some years. I think her name is Jane. Hi, Wing Doggy. Hello. Ooh, wow. Wing Doggy spent the whole day with his grandsons. Well, that sounds fun. So it's been hot, and it's been so hot that it's like my apartment, like too hot to move, too hot to eat. Just the first night when I tried to, Sunday night, I was at my apartment, and I was like, it was still 11:30 at night, and it was 95 degrees in my apartment. I was lying in bed, just like lying there, the fans blowing on me, and still hot and like awake. So it was much nicer sleeping at Sweetie's. Oh yeah. So yeah. Oh, and I just saw an article. I don't know if anybody else has seen that apparently the Orlando shooter. They were saying that he was probably homosexual. Now apparently, and as far as I know, his story is checked out. There, because sometimes people after make claims because they want to get publicity after events, so they check out to make sure like that this person actually knew him. His lover for the last couple months, boyfriend or whatever, was being interviewed and said that even though while he was there, he was talking all this big talk about he's all for doing this for ISIS and all this stuff and all this big scary talk, that the real reason that he didn't actually have any connections with any of these groups or wasn't involved with them, he was just trying to, I guess, talk trash and sound scarier and bigger and badder, as people like to do in those situations. But the real reason was that he was mad because he found out that one of his ex-partners, sexual partners, had HIV. And he was mad that he might have HIV, and he was mad about feeling used. And so his whole reason was probably more likely his repressed sexuality, homosexuality, and anger, and then his religion doesn't allow you to be homosexual, so there's going to be a whole bunch of all of that mess of that. So, and did the shooter's wife and his devout father? Well, see, that would be a big problem, being a Muslim and with a devout father and a religion that doesn't allow for homosexuality. That would cause a lot of inner conflict, which sometimes results in violence. So that's probably the larger reason, even though there's a lot of people screaming about immigrants and all this, even though he wasn't actually an immigrant. He was born here, and so that's that's a shame. That's a shame that you think, like, maybe if there was more tolerance and he wasn't, though he may have also had some mental illness too. Seems like from what other friends and other people knew, he was a pretty angry guy who was like mad about everything and everyone. Had a lot of pent-up rage and explosive rage. So it seemed like the guy could have used a lot of therapy. It could have used some years of therapy, anger management. Yeah. So it seems like this guy was probably somebody who would explode about something at some point in his life, because it seems like he had a very, yeah. Linda says he's a big loser anyhow. Well, yes, that's true. But when he made all these claims about, which makes him sound a lot more ferocious and terrifying, and, that's the quickest way to freak people out. And now you've got all these politicians and people screaming about immigrants, which doesn't help anything. And the fact that he wasn't an immigrant. So, but that's okay. They don't need much of an excuse to scream about that. Well, his dad was, but Linda, like, practically half the people in this country, their parents or their grandparents are from somewhere. 3/4. I mean, everyone in this country are either first generation, second, or third generation, pretty much. As I know, most people, if you think back, either your grandfather, your father, your grandfather, your great-grandfather just came here from somewhere. Linda says she's the next generation. Except David Jones. David Jones says he's been here since the 1700s, so it was his great-great-great-grandfather. So this guy said his family came from France. Oh yeah, and there's craziness in Europe too. Right now, I think it's Friday. England is voting whether or not to stay in the European Union, which, European Union had formed kind of like a loose version, like a United States of Europe, kind of with all the countries in Europe, and which is dangerous for the entire European economy. I mean, think about it. If a bunch of states from the U.S., what kind of chaos would that cause for the rest of Europe? Because England says, oh, well, we don't want to do this. But then if the European economy crashes, that's also going to crash England's economy, because everything's kind of connected. So that sounds like that could cause a lot. And if Europe's economy crashes, that's not just going to affect Europe. It's going to affect the whole world. It's going to affect the U.S. That's going to affect, the whole world is connected economically now. You can't have something happen in one country and not have it affect all the others. So, well, David Jones says Germany and England are mad because they are more successful, they make more money, so they feel like they pay more for the rest of Europe. But that may be true, but if the rest of Europe then, if they leave and they have all this money and the rest of Europe goes bankrupt, that's going to affect them too. Sturgis guy says Brussels was telling farmers in England how to run their farms. Yeah, well, nobody about control and stuff. Well, they need to solve the problem because you can't live in a bubble anymore. England can't live like the U.S. can't put a wall around itself. England can't put a wall around itself. The entire world is connected economically. Every country is connected now to the world, and something happens in one, and it has a ripple effect for everyone else. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens because it'll affect the U.S. too. And also, what does if they leave and then the other European countries have even worse economies, how will that affect things socially? Will there be more social unrest and more violence? Because then that'll affect England bad too, because you've got a whole bunch of people who are poor and immigrants and stuff, and that causes a lot of problems. So you have to think there's a lot of issues. It's not just one thing. And all of that will affect the U.S. because obviously the U.S. has all kinds of economic relations, banking and stocks, and all kinds of economic relations with all these countries. So it affects everybody. So we'll see what happens. Just like if the U.S. makes all kinds of crazy changes and rules and all kinds of stuff, that would have a big effect on the rest of the world. So we'll see. We'll see what happens, but that's kind of big developments. Anyhow, how is everybody doing? Have you had... Oh, Linda said she saw the movie Ant-Man. Did you like it? Yeah, it's a very close vote. It's a very close vote, and we saw last week that the woman, I think her name was Jo Cox, one of the politicians, a local politician, was stabbed in the street by some guy. This is a crazy kind of... tensions are high, and anytime things are like, she's a member of parliament, anytime tensions are high like that, crazy people come out of the woodwork. Thanks, Linda. So, well, Sweetie and I have been watching a series, and I think it's on one of the cable networks. I'm not sure. It's called The Night Manager, starring, you've heard of that, David Jones says it was on Annie, starring, hi Marcel, Hugh Laurie, and as the bad guy, and oh, I'm forgetting his name. Really cute English guy. He's so good. Hugh Laurie, and what's the other guy's name? David Jones? No. Um, so, Tom Hiddleston, yes. Tom Hiddleston. Loki from one of the uh, Thor movies. Tom Hiddleston, who's great, who could potentially, and this is, everybody says that name wrong, could potentially be a next James Bond, and he is so excellent. It's Lock Eye. Lock Eye. Loci. 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 Loki. Marcel says Loki. That's what I said before, Loki. Linda says no. Linda says it's Loci. We should have a battle over this. Yeah, Tom Hiddleston is great, and it's like a Tom Hiddleston plays a guy who's a hotel night manager for a fancy hotel in the Middle East, and this woman gets killed in his hotel by a local thug, bad guy, and she gets murdered. And he was trying to protect her, and he had called like the English MI6 people about this and warned them, and somebody was involved. There was a double agent somewhere, so the bad guy got the information back to him and killed the woman. So then, cut to several years later, he's working with the MI6, and he's like undercover with the big bad guy, and he's infiltrated. He was angry, so he's infiltrated the organization. So now he's working with the big bad guy. So and it's really good. And Hugh Laurie is the big bad guy who pretends that he's a kind of like businessman, humanitarian, but actually he's selling arms. He's an arms dealer. Marcel says it's Norse mythology, Viking mythology. Loci, Angela, Loci, Loki. Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of great actors playing all these great characters, but so there's danger, and anyhow, it's a very good series. If anyone has A&E, gets that channel, I recommend it. Tom Hiddleston is excellent in everything he does. And Hugh Laurie, and you know how good he was in House. Marcel says House, my Norwegian. I need to work on it a bit. He also played Doctor Who, yeah, and he plays an excellent bad guy. The kind of very charming bad guy. Oh, David Jones says it's AMC. Yeah, he plays a very charming bad guy. Dangerous, like he might kill you. Sam. It's called The Night Manager, Blair. Hey, Blair. The Night Manager, and it's on AMC. Tom Hiddleston and Hugh Laurie. And I don't know, on these, if you have AMC, can you watch like back episodes? I don't have cable, so I'm not sure. If you have cable, can you watch previous episodes so that you can start from the first one? Oh, that would be video on demand. So if you have on demand, try to watch it from the first one if you're able to, but it's very good. But Tom Hiddleston is great, and he's very good at the like that. That's why he's up for potentially being the next James Bond, because he's very smooth and sophisticated, and he's and has that like danger, a little bit dangerous, but kind of a good guy. Marcel says on demand means if you scream at your TV, it will show up. Damn it! Play me episode 1, TV. Yeah, but we're up to, I think right now there's only 6 episodes they've done the first season, so I think I've watched up through episode 4. But I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how that all works. Sam says, why do I hear a steam train or something breathing heavy? That's my computer, Sam. The fan is on because it's getting really hot. Ooh, it's getting really, really hot. It's still, that's why I couldn't stream the last 2 days. It was way too hot to stream on my computer. Sounds like a carpenter outside. Yeah, in fact, it's 5:50. My computer is starting to struggle. Even though it's cooler, it's still hot. You can hear my computer starting to struggle and complain. Alright, I better sign off because I gotta let it cool down before my circuitry starts to melt. Yeah, let me say goodbye to everybody. Allura Star and Shocker and Sturgis Guy and T-Sis and House of Dave and Sam and St. Clinton and Eric and Petey and Tim and Ryan and Photo and Philip Chandler and Mark Mean and Star Raven and Angie Jonas and no, it's my computer, Angie Tomlinson and Fairies Lover and Lucky Girl. This is my laptop. This is my laptop, Marcel, making that noise. Oh, yeah. Oh, I need a cooler. Yeah, my cooler fan broke. I got to get a new cooler now that it's so hot. Fairies Lover and Lucky Girl, and Adja Yusuf and the Cram and Marcel and Jim Dandy and Bill Knaus and Scott Kimmis and Joe Barney and Philip Chandler and Red Stapler and John McCain and Bill Knaus and Scott Kimmis and Sturgis Guy and Blair Cooper and Brett and Terry Sue and Max and N1QOV and Cosmic Joe and Jay Dahlman and Boot and Swede. Thank you for checking in. Oh, I can't stream on my iPad, Linda. It doesn't. I don't have that capability. So, all right, I am just about to sign off, but I want to thank you for coming to see me, and hopefully tomorrow, I think it's supposed to be even a little cooler tomorrow, so that should be good. So we'll be here for Stupid Question Day. All right, kisses for everybody. I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye. I love you guys. Bye. Short show. No, it's 5:53. Bye. Love you guys.